Hi, I'm Heidi,
And I'm Byron.
and we are Sailing Schmidt. This video is the story of our journey north from Martinique to Dominica in mid-March 2026, as well as a few of our adventures in Dominica. The sail was 35 nautical miles that we estimated would take about 6 hours. We usually estimate based on a conservative 5.5 knots per hour. Do we need more sail out? Yeah.
Looks like we're only about 200-300 yards and we should be seeing
Okay, that works. I'm seeing the white caps developing out there, so we're probably,
I think it's coming, but she's not quite there
yeah. Big seas. But good timing. I like the timing of these rollers. So long, Martinique. We started with double reefs in our sails, then we lost the wind, and then we got it back like crazy. We ended up triple reefed, and even then it was wild. We had 7-foot seas, and a few waves knocked us on our side. Even triple reefed, we were going 6.5 knots. We were happy to get into the shadow of Dominica, where things calmed a bit. We had reached out to a man named Mr. Beans to reserve a mooring ball in Roseau because the significant depths in the bay are prohibitive to anchoring. The anchorage was so calm. Customs and Immigration was at the cruise ship terminal several miles away. Because of the spun prop on our dinghy engine, our speed is limited, so we hired Mr. Beans to taxi us to check in. It was only about $5 to stay in the country for 2 weeks. We arranged a land tour of the island through Mr. Beans. He picked us up at our boat, took us to shore, and our guide was Craig, whose taxi is Goodspeed. Craig drove us through the city of Roseau and told us the history of the town. Originally, an indigenous settlement of Kalinago people existed around the mouth of the river. French colonists arrived in the late 1600s and named the settlement Roseau, meaning reed, because of the river reeds. Over the next 100 years, the French and English battled for this strategic port, which was eventually ceded to England. In 1978, Dominica gained independence from Britain.
All right. The National Sports Stadium is about 15 minutes boat.
There are 365 rivers in Dominica. They experience lots of flooding here due to rainfall and because Roseau is simply at sea level. We saw loads of tourism in Roseau because it is a major Caribbean cruise ship port. Now we were headed up into the mountains.
Down below, we have the Trafalgar village that we'll pass through later on. On top of that first mountain there, that's another village which we call Mount Prosper. Further back, that's the Eggleston Jodel Community Village, alright, on the furthest ridge. Yeah. And then the valley that we drove up, piece of the city that you can see at the end, all the way to the end. Yeah. So we have the Mont Anglais mountain right there, which is the ridge of Augustin Jourdain, Mont Anglais.
We saw the country's cable car construction project expected to be completed in 2026. It will provide outstanding views and access to the boiling lake. The government is expecting this project to triple tourism and boost local economies. It seems like a good investment for capitalizing on the country's natural environment and raw beauty. Our only request for this land tour was that we see some of the country's most notable features. We didn't know what this would entail, but Titou Gorge was at the top of the list. We didn't know quite what it was, but life jackets were required.
I mean, if they hold wine, why not hold water, I guess, right?
A large group from a cruise ship was just finishing up, and as we got in the water, it began to rain, so other people were holding off on getting in. So doing the adventure by ourselves without a huge group around was a big bonus.
Here we go. Oh!
Take your time.
This is amazing though. Is it not?
It is.
Your poor glasses are all fogged up. Wow, there's a tree in here too. Did you get warmed up yet? Okay.
Just took a little.
The water and the rain were freezing. We struggled to swim against the current, so that movement helped keep us warm. Upstream, we could hear a lot of people talking and cheering. It was about 25 feet deep where we swam and 50 feet up to the top of the gorge. When we got close to the waterfall, it was a slippery climb up the rocks against the current. We found out that someone had dropped their phone and one of the guides swam down 20 feet to get it. That was the cheering we heard. The exit was also a challenge, but less strenuous. Byron and I agree this is one of the best things we have done since we've been on our sailing journey.
Okay. Now it's just a matter of floating with the current and avoiding the walls. I didn't know that we signed up for this.
It's actually one of the best tours I think we've taken.
I know. Just stay off the wall. Yep, we're calling it Titou Gorge. And here we are coming out.
Our next stop would be Trafalgar Falls inside the UNESCO World Heritage Site of Morne-Trois-Pitons National Park. In this park there are 50 fumaroles, 5 volcanoes, hot springs, 3 lakes, and a 6-mile hike to the boiling lake. The falls area had a nice visitor center with all the usual vendors and a short walk down to see the falls. Oh, look at those colors. These are freshwater crab, right? The only twin waterfalls on the island, the 125-foot fall on the left is known as Mother, and the 75-foot one on the right is known as Father. The Mother Falls water source is the Breakfast River, while the Father is sourced by Freshwater Lake, which flows through Titou Gorge. Within the Mother Falls is a hot spring pool, which is accessible via a rock scramble. No scramble for us this day. Craig owns a very nice van for the tour. We enjoyed a lunch with him at the River Rock Cafe. We were still inside the national park. On we went to Wattenwaven to see the Screws Sulphur Springs. Who names these things? Fun fact, anyone in the Wattenwaven village can tap into the hot springs and have a hot tub on their property. They soak in the sulfur springs for traditional healing.
That helps release some of the pressure from the volcano. Okay. So the water there is boiling at over 279 degrees Fahrenheit. Okay? An egg will cook in about 2 seconds.
Okay.
Right. Okay?
So this is basically a vent. It looks like it's going down that way.
Eventually, initially it was this pond back there.
Yeah.
And then sometime last year, this one just opened up in the ground.
Oh, okay.
All right?
Wow, that's impressive. I mean, look, it's even boiling down here. It's kind of,
Yeah,
I mean, that's stream, but it's
still boiling
it's
over
boiling
there.
over there.
Yeah.
It's,
But you see where the people are?
yeah.
So that's a small tub there with sulfur water that you can actually go in and soak. So to the back there, there's also another one, a spa-like. So we're in the Wattenwaven village, which is actually the sulfuric capital of Dominica. Pretty much everybody lives here. Can't reach the hospital in
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
if they wish to. All they need is to tap into the source, run the pipelines, build a little pool, and they have a hot tub in the back.
Nice.
Wow. Going back down the mountain, there was even more to see. We saw the grand ficus, one of the largest ficus trees in the world, in the botanical gardens, and then to Morinbruce Viewpoint, which affords a view of all of Roseau. Let's say we slept well this night. We moved north along the coast to Mero Beach, which was a 2-hour sail. On the way, we passed Roseau with the port and cruise ship terminal. We reflected on what a beautiful country Dominica really is. We continued to see a rainbow form off and on, and the rainbow's end shifted continually until it was pointing to our destination. Followed the rainbow to the anchorage. Mero Beach was in full swing with Sunday Fun Day. At the bar, we got a drink and noticed that a few other substances were available for sale as well. Thus, the crowd on the beach was very mellow. The boating was a different story. We saw so many unsafe things going on. This is the boat that cut 10 feet in front of our dinghy through a huge wake and then watched us and laughed about it. Eventually, some of the older local men had a chat with the aggressive young'uns to chill them out. We stayed long enough to watch a fun reggae band for a bit. The next day, we chilled on board and did our laundry. We went ashore, and while it was very beautiful, it was chill compared to the night before. There was not much there, and there was no ATM. We were running out of cash. The grocery store had canned peas and carrots, flour, sugar, and frozen chicken parts that we didn't know what they were. We had the weather to cross the 49 miles up to Guadeloupe, a French island. We left at 6 a.m. and it would take about 8 to 9 hours. Bright and early, leaving Mero Beach, Dominica, and going to Guadeloupe. Often the winds aren't strong enough in the mornings when we take off, and then we have the shadow of the island or the mountains that we have to get beyond to have enough wind to sail. We avoid using the engine as much as possible. We're in the shadow of this mountain or volcano, I guess, and it's just totally taken away our speed. In fact, I think we were at 0.7 knots. So we're just kind of drifting here, waiting for the wind to come back. I can kind of see it on the water up there, maybe. Actually, we're at 0.3 knots. And it's just a waiting game because I don't know what else we can do besides turn on the engine, but don't really want to do that because it's so peaceful. This is Portsmouth, and we decided not to stop here. Good or bad, but it's what we did. Next episode, we will show highlights of our sail to Guadeloupe, as well as what we discovered there.